Yo, Robert Ferringo with Doc Sports here with your Hump Day hero, Nolan Patrick of Strike Point Sports. We're going to get to Nolan in 1 second, but I got to give a quick shout out. This video is for Wednesday, April 21st, so I have to say happy birthday to my son, Noah. He is turning 8. He is the nicest, sweetest little boy ever, and I love you a lot, Noah. So, all right, Nolan, normally we do one of these videos, okay? 3 games. There's usually one marquee game, and then we have 1 or 2 other games that are just kind of intriguing to us, right? I feel like this Wednesday is going to be one of the biggest, best, and most consequential Wednesdays that since we've been doing these videos. So actually, what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 videos this week, all right? We're going to talk about 3 games, stop, get into the next video, and those people that I know are clamoring for that free pick that you've been giving out, dealing winners every Wednesday here, they're going to have to watch both videos, or at least the end of the second video to get to that free pick. Does that sound all right with you?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay, then let's jump right into it. The first game is Phoenix at Philadelphia, okay? The best in the East, one of the best in the West, 2 of the best teams. We've seen Philadelphia play a lot of these big games at home lately, and they always seem to have success. I mean, that's kind of our betting maxim when it comes to the 76ers, right, is if they're at home, bet them. What do you see? What jumps off the page at you in this first marquee matchup?
I'll tell you, the same thing that's jumped off the page all season long. Who is going to play for what team? This, I mean, you know, as we've grown up and we've watched basketball, there's always injuries and so on and so forth. But I swear every single game on the card, every single day, you have multiple people that just have a questionable tag. I mean, I feel like you and I are playing. We're 42 years old, and we're always questionable each and every day. But it all comes down to Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, to be honest. Are they going to play? They're both questionable. I'm hoping they play because this is going to be an absolutely awesome game if they do. If they both play, we love Philly here. Phoenix is a great team, but the length and the athleticism that Philly has defensively, I think can really slow down Phoenix's mid-range game that they just excel at. If Harris doesn't play, Matisse Thybulle can play, and he's an awesome, awesome defender. So I think that really helps defensively with Philly. But if Ben Simmons doesn't play as well, then we like Phoenix to take it.
Do you think that if Harris and Simmons don't play, that Phoenix would actually be favored in this game? Could we see Philadelphia posted as a home underdog in this game? Or will they still be kind of like a token 1.5 point favorite?
As of right now, I actually just looked 30 minutes ago, and I found 2 separate sites that currently have Phoenix -1.5.
Okay, that makes sense. And that they're kind of leaning towards Simmons and Harris not playing then, which honestly, as I handicap this game, that's kind of what I see. And, you know, one of the things about the 76ers, like they had that big game at home against the Nets last week, and the Nets ended up not playing a bunch of guys. But with Philadelphia, you could tell, especially by the way they came out early in that game, they were ready to play. They were jazzed up. It's easy to get excited for a game against a Brooklyn Nets team with a lot of big names. Phoenix was a team that no one was expecting to be one of the best teams in the NBA this year. Do you think even if Philadelphia is at full strength, okay, Harris and Simmons, even if they play, won't be 100%, do you think that it's a little harder for a team like Philadelphia to get up for a game against the Suns? They know about their record. They know how well Phoenix is playing. But is it a little bit more difficult for Philadelphia to get jazzed up for this game? Or do you think, no, they're playing at home, they want to run people out of the gym?
I think playing at home is huge for them. I really do. And we actually talked about that in one of our previous videos, that we knew Philly was going to get up for that game more than Brooklyn was. And we see Philly getting up for this game as well. I think something that people really need to ponder when they're taking a game like this big marquee game, this is an opportunity for Joel Embiid to try and cement his MVP candidacy. And he is going to want to have a monster game with or without Harris and Simmons. So I think you see Joel Embiid play just an absolutely monster game and give Philly a chance to win.
You know, Phoenix has been a moneymaker for the past 2 or 3 months. But one of the things that's interesting about their schedule over the last month and a half is that they had a 4-game road trip near the end of March. Kick that out. Set that aside. Other than that, 14 of their last 17 games have been at home. They haven't played a lot of big road games, and they really haven't played well in a lot of their road games. They have 1 win and 2 losses. I think that win came at Houston in a game that they only won by 3 points. They lost against the Clippers in that big game the night after Utah. Are you worried that Phoenix has not proven that they can win on the road yet?
I'm really not. And it all revolves around Chris Paul. I think he's just so significant to that team. His leadership, the way he plays, he knows, especially in the regular season, he knows how to win big games in the regular season. So I think you're going to see him really lead that team to a strong finish to the end of the regular season, regardless of the venue, whether they're home or away. I just think, if healthy, this is a really tough spot for Phoenix, because I think that Philly can win this game if they have everybody. And I think Philly wins this game even if Simmons plays and Harris doesn't.
Interesting. I actually think that Harris and Simmons are going to rest. That's my gut feeling. Again, we're recording this Tuesday night, so I don't have the benefit of that of the morning reports. But I don't think either one of them is going to play, and I don't think Philadelphia is going to be nearly as up for this game as they have been for some of their other marquee home games. All right, next game. It's all coming full circle in this next game. This is very meta for anyone that's been following any of our videos this season. We have two of your teams playing well, and two of your teams playing well against one another. Atlanta at New York. You love the Hawks. You are a diehard Knicks fan, and I busted your balls all season about both of those things. Yet here we are. The Knicks have won 6 straight. I saw in one power rankings that they were ranked number 9. Someone has them as number 9 in the NBA, which is just ridiculous. Atlanta has been very quietly one of the hotter teams in the Eastern Conference, winning 9 of their last 11 games. I mean, what do you see here? You follow both of these teams very closely, and you've been on both of these teams all year. So what do you see when they go head to head?
I mean, if you just watched that last Knicks game and you heard the Julius Randle for MVP talk, it just warmed my heart. It was fantastic. It reminded me of when Stoudemire was there before Carmelo, and everybody was MVP for Amari Stoudemire. We like both teams. However, we feel like the Knicks are a little overvalued by the public right now. We are really interested, and like you've talked about a couple of times, this is a Tuesday video that will go out on Wednesday. We are really interested to see the Knicks-Charlotte game tonight. We did not like that line for the Knicks at all. 6-point favorite, got bet down to 5.5. Did not like that. Felt like that was a big-time overvalue of the Knicks. And currently the Knicks are favored over the Hawks tomorrow. The first line came out, and the Knicks are a 1.5 point favorite over Atlanta tomorrow. We don't like that either. We lean Atlanta there.
Okay, so the Knicks are, I agree with you that at a certain point, the books, the public, everyone's going to start catching up with the Knicks. And because they are still a very public NBA team, even though they've been pathetic for 20 years, it's going to accelerate quickly, okay, in how much their lines start to jump up. They're 9-0 against the spread in their last 9 games. They've covered 9 straight. They've won 6 straight outright. They're 20-6 against the spread in their last 26 games. So do you think that these numbers are just catching up to how undervalued they are? Or do you think that everyone's piling on the bandwagon and their spreads are going to start to go from 0 to 60?
I think they're going to go from 0 to 60. And if you look at a lot of the games that the Knicks have been covering, it fit their MO. You know, they had the opportunity to never give up, cover some games as an underdog. I mean, heck, they won them outright. But in a lot of those games that they covered and won outright, they were losing. They were losing late in the third, early in the fourth, and they just don't give up. This team plays hard each and every night. And, you know, people don't realize it, but they're top 10 in the NBA in three-point shooting percentage. I believe as a team, they shoot about 38, 39%, and that's going to keep you in games. But when you're a favorite and the public starts to jump on these lines, that's when Vegas can attack. And I think there's going to be some value fading the Knicks coming up.
I think you're right. I mean, they're playing the role of that gritty, defensive, get in your face, grind out games. It's a lot easier to do that when you have that underdog mentality, and it's a lot easier to cash tickets on those teams when you're catching 3, 4, 4.5, 5 points in those games. In the next video, we're going to talk about another team in the Western Conference that's been pulling off a similar feat over the last few months to great effect. But one thing I'll say about the Knicks is that a lot of the top teams, as we head down the stretch, expected to be where they are, okay? Teams like Philadelphia, Milwaukee, the Clippers, even the Lakers, Utah in the West, they expected to be here. So this last month of the season, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of urgency out of them. The Knicks, nobody thought that they would be rolling into the playoffs, man. Like, they're a team that I feel like has a lot of urgency, has a lot of momentum. I think the Garden is rocking every night now that they are competitive and fans have something to cheer for. And I think that that level of energy over these last 4 weeks really is going to carry them in some games. And I think that this could be one of them. Now, I have to say, the Knicks have absolutely dominated this series against the Hawks. They're 6-0 against the spread in the last 6. They're 8-1 against the spread in the last 9 meetings. They have won both of the meetings already this year, including an 11-point blowout back on February 15th. Was different Hawks team, do we kind of throw that out the window, or do the Knicks just kind of have a good matchup here and just kind of a bad matchup for Atlanta?
I think the Knicks are a difficult matchup for the Hawks, but this is a completely different Hawks team. Nate McMillan has changed this Hawks team completely. A lot of these guys are gelling. They're slowly but surely starting to get healthier too. The Hawks are getting healthier. They have a lot of their core pieces back. I think that you're going to see this be a tough matchup for the Knicks because I think the Hawks are going to be able to spread the floor, take advantage of some one-on-one opportunities, and really get out in transition. And the Knicks scoring punch isn't, top form in the NBA. They like to muck it up. And I think it's going to be difficult to do, especially on the back-to-back.
I think it's going to be a telling game for Atlanta, too, how they adapt and adjust to New York's kind of grinding style defensively. All right, the last thing that we're going to talk about in this segment, we have Miami heading to San Antonio. Very consequential game for both teams. Miami is currently 7th in the East. San Antonio is 10th in the West. So they're on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of where they're positioned for that play-in playoff series. So big game for both. San Antonio is trying to firm up its position out west. They have a nice lead over New Orleans. Miami is trying to desperately to get into that 6th seed so they don't have to play in that play-in series. What do you look at when you see these two teams right now?
Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. All of them questionable.
Weird. We don't know who's going to play. Yeah.
I mean, very similar to what we were just talking about with the 76ers. Butler's missed the last 2 games. I don't think he plays. I do not think he plays. Bam sat Monday due to a sore knee, but that was the second game of a back-to-back. So I think you see a good chance of Bam playing in this game. Tyler Hero tried to play through his foot injury on Monday. He tried to warm up, tried to give it a go, couldn't make it. So I think I have him pegged about 65, 70% chance of him playing in that game. If you see Bam and Hero play, again, I don't think Jimmy Butler plays. If you see those two play, I think you're looking at the Heat winning a close game. And I think you're going to see the line being 1 possession either way. If there's no Bam if there's no Bam, if Hero plays and Bam doesn't and Butler doesn't, I don't think Miami has enough to beat the Spurs.
Yeah, is the Spurs push for real? They've won back-to-back road games, beat Indiana, beat Phoenix without a bunch of guys. They were a 12-point underdog, won by 20-something points over Phoenix. Only the second time in the last 20 years that a 12-point favorite is won by that large, a 12-point underdog in the NBA has won by that large of a margin. They're 4-2 straight up and against the spread in the last 6 games. So are you not buying this late season push from the Spurs?
I think that if you see Bam and Hero play, I think it's a tough matchup for the Spurs. I like how the Spurs are playing. I think you're going to see some value on San Antonio in the next couple of games, but I don't like the matchup if those two guys play. If they don't play, I like San Antonio to win a pretty easy game, to be honest with you, because they have momentum. They have a great coaching staff that knows how to close out seasons, and you're starting to get some solid play from some unsung heroes out there in San Antonio.
All right, Bam and Hero play, and Bam and Hero don't play, what do you see the spread being in this game in each of those scenarios?
If Bam and Hero don't play, I see the Spurs being, that 5.5 point favorite that you see all the time in the NBA. If Bam and Hero play, I think you might even see Miami as maybe a 1.5 point favorite in San Antonio.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I think it'd be tough the way that they're playing right now to make them a road favorite, especially without Jimmy Butler. Those other guys may come back. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at San Antonio in this game. I know that Jimmy Butler called out his team for being soft last week, and they responded with that last second win over the Nets. But, Kevin Durant only played in 3 minutes of that game. Yep. I think that kind of stunned Brooklyn a little bit. It was a close game. Miami was at home. I'm not really high on where the Heat are at right now. I don't see a team that's peaking. San Antonio, I kind of do. And their ceiling is a lot more limited and a lot smaller than Miami's ceiling is. But I think that one of these teams has momentum and one of them doesn't. Okay, that's the first half of our Hump Day Hero segment. Everyone go, get a drink, pour yourself a cocktail, even though you're probably watching this at like 11 a.m. Never too early for a cocktail. Come back. We have 2 more games we're going to break down, and then you get Nolan Patrick's free pick for Wednesday.